Bulletin this half hour, eThekwini municipal officials and ward councillors accused of having colluded with business entities to influence the awarding of a multi-million rand contract are back in court this morning. Along with former Mayor Zandile Gumede, they're charged with racketeering, fraud as well as corruption. eNCA senior reporter Siphamandla Goge is covering the case and he joins us now. Good morning, Siphamandla. There have been a lot of delays insofar as this case is concerned. What are we expecting today? Are they in fact pleading?
It's expected that they will plead. Even if they do plead, the matter will be postponed to next year. So this matter will not get underway immediately. It will be postponed to next year. Of course, all of that depends on the court roll. You are likely to get started with this matter somewhere in March or April next year, or even beyond that. It's all dependent on the court roll for next year and the calendar for the court. It's been like this for many years now. If I'm not mistaken, more than 4 years this matter has been dragging for, and you are not going to get underway immediately. Today you will get all the accused persons inside and then they will plead. It's expected that they will plead, and then after that the matter then will adjourn to next year. That is based on their previous appearance, where the judge indicated that in all likelihood, to be honest with this matter, it's going to start probably next year. So today we expect that the accused persons will go inside court. They may be asked to plead. The matter will be postponed. So nothing much will happen today, but it will be significant if they do take, to the stand, or rather they decide to plead, or the court asks them to plead. Technically, that will signal the fact that we are underway with this trial, but practically and realistically, in terms of the logistics, the matter will have to be adjourned to next year, and that's when we expect that at least proceedings will get underway. The matter will be ventilated in court. How did we get here? Simply because a number of high-profile politicians, including the current chairperson of the ANC in eThekwini region, the party's biggest region in South Africa, who is the former mayor of eThekwini Metro, the only metro in KwaZulu-Natal, Zandile Gumede, is one of the accused persons. The former city manager of eThekwini, Mr. Siphamandla, is also one of the high-profile accused in the matter. There are other politicians, councillors, business people. Let's add that it's not only politicians, business people and business entities are part of this. The state alleges that politicians colluded to influence the awarding of tenders, and they allegedly received kickbacks from that. Those tenders were located at the unit known as the Durban Solid Waste Unit. So we are here because the state alleges that there was that collusion between politicians to influence the awarding of tenders to certain identified business people and their entities. Hence, the state alleges that there were kickbacks that were paid to high-profile politicians. So, in court today, proceedings are expected to center around pre-trial. We move to the stage where they may be asked to plead. After that, the matter adjourns to next year.
These are very high-profile individuals, and one assumes there would be a few supporters there. Have you spotted any high-profile supporters, perhaps those there to support the likes of Ms. Zandile Gumede?
Definitely, there will be some high-profile politicians coming to support Zandile Gumede, whether members of the Provincial Executive Committee of KwaZulu-Natal. My colleague Bonga Mkhize will try to show you who is here. There is a gentleman who's wearing a navy suit there with a white shirt. His name is Mr. Nkosenhle Madlala. He is one of the councillors and members of EXCO in eThekwini, but he's the Deputy Regional Secretary of the ANC in eThekwini. So he is one of the top officials of the ANC in eThekwini region. I've spotted other politicians here, including members of SANCO. We expect others to arrive just after 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. Usually, in terms of the setup, what happens is once those politicians who come to court to support Zandile Gumede, when the matter is about to get underway, they will come to the courtroom to show their support. So we can only spot more people once we are inside courtroom. and then after that, usually Zandile Gumede will go outside and address hundreds and sometimes thousands of her supporters who usually flock to court. So it's all dependent on the numbers, but I've seen a marquee being set up outside, and the expectation is that Zandile Gumede will be addressing her supporters, and definitely there will be high-profile politicians who would come. Previous appearances, we have seen the former deputy mayor of Umsunduzi municipality, that is Mr. Tobani Zuma, and we have seen former provincial secretary of the eNCA in KwaZulu-Natal, Super Zuma, coming to court to support Zandile Gumede, and the expectation is that that support from high-profile politicians will continue today.
Now, Siphamandla, just before I let you go, on the filming of proceedings inside, has that matter been settled, or it will be settled today, insofar as journalists are concerned?
It will be settled today. We've just seen, the court orderly there, or, ushering people in, telling them about the court order, or rather, should I say, matters that will be before the court roll. This is what is happening outside court, and some of the people you see here are not here for Zandile Gumede. There are other court cases that are ongoing, so not everyone who's here is for Zandile Gumede. Other people are here for other matters as well. So once everyone is inside, as you see lawyers here checking their matters on the court roll, once everyone is inside and the matter of Zandile Gumede and her co-accused is called upon, one of the first things or proceedings of the court will be to deal with the issue of the application by the media for access to be granted. In the past, there's been an outcry whereby media and SANEF in particular have raised concerns about not being allowed to film inside court and to transmit live visuals of what was happening. There was an order that was given by the court to say cannot be transmitted live at the time. There was something about pictures taken in court when the matter was starting. So today there has been a formal application that has been lodged by members of the media, and we expect that there will be a ruling on that, and hopefully the issue will be granted access. The matter will be allowed to be recorded and also to be transmitted, because it's in the public interest to have this matter properly covered by the media. The reason being is we are dealing with high-profile politicians. Some of them are still serving the public. In the case of Zandile Gumede, she's the chairperson of the governing African National Congress in eThekwini, the only metro. She's the former mayor of eThekwini Metro, and she currently serves as a member of the provincial legislature in KwaZulu-Natal, responsible for the Portfolio Committee on Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. Former city manager Mr. Siphamandla Goge is also one of those high-profile people. But not only that, business people in this matter as well business entities. So all those aspects of this case and this matter, they are in the public interest. We hope that the judge will grant media access at 10 o'clock.
Those most certainly are the public interest. Siphamandla, we'll leave it there for now. That's senior reporter Siphamandla Goge. Now, the